All wings report in.
HouseDog, standing by.
Mother Goose, standing by.
Lowtech Tuck, standing by.
Lock S foils in attack position. Animal Squadron ready for battle.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Animal Squadron podcast. You're here with your hairiest host, Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tuck. Also, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Because I'm nicer than our hairiest host.
That's probably true.
I just want that on the record.
But you
that
know
I
what?
wish everyone a Happy New Year. What?
Tucker is one of the nicest people of all time. So, for me to take second place to that, I feel comfortable.
What, you won't even let me bully you? Come on, man. You can't take that away from me.
If you don't let it happen, they can't hurt you. If you pretend like you don't care, they'll stop.
Big brain Elijah out here out strategizing me.
Big brain. Yeah. Happy New Year, like Tuck said. And this is, last year was great. I think this coming year, in terms of Star Wars, is going to be great. I'm just super excited.
I am too. From the looks of it, as long as things don't get canceled, we might have another 2022 on our hands.
Yeah.
Which would be awesome.
I think so. Well, T-Nell, you want to tell everyone what we're doing or what we're talking about today?
So today is the big dance.
The big dance. The Battle Royale.
We're doing our year-end review of 2023 Star Wars projects, and we're doing it tournament style, baby. So expect some arguments and expect some Cinderella teams and some wins, some losses, blood, sweat, tears, etc.
Depending on how it goes, it may or may not be our last podcast. Me and Tuck may or may not be friends. Let's just see.
Elijah might stab me. Who knows?
I'm going to just teleport the 22-hour distance.
26.
26. Just give him a little stabby stab. Okay, so I'm just going to run through the brackets real quick so you guys kind of have an idea of what we're going to be doing. Round 1 is going to be Bad Batch versus Mandalorian, and this is seasons 2 for Bad Batch and season 3 for The Mandalorian. We have Jedi Survivor versus Vision season 2. And then Ahsoka, we've both just decided deserves an automatic spot in the finale. So we'll get there when we get there. The only other big project that came out this year was Star Wars Young Jedi Adventures, which I think is a really great project for parents who want to get their kids into Star Wars, but maybe they're just a little too young for the violence or more mature themes. But at the same time, I don't really think it was necessarily Tucker or I's jam.
Yeah, I did hear about it though from some parents with really young kids, like less than 5, and apparently toddlers really like it, and I think that's kind of their target, is like kids that are like, I don't know, 2.5 to 6 probably.
Yeah.
And but it seems like it's well reviewed by those people, so they're meeting their target, which is great. It's just I'm not their target.
Yeah, for sure. I am interested at some point to watch a couple episodes just to see a younger Yoda. I know he's not much younger, but I think that interests me a little bit. And do you know if it's canon or not?
I don't think it is.
Okay. Yeah, that also is going to depend on if I watch or not. If it was canon, I would have to watch it.
Yeah, let me just Google that real quick. But I'm pretty sure that because they had to simplify a lot, that it's not canon.
Yeah.
Is young.
And something I can talk about is the animation style. I really I really like it. I think it's a good quality for this type of show, at least from the trailers and clips that I've seen.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, actually, I did just see. Actually, it is canon.
Okay.
Apparently.
Well,
So this is me eating crow. Apparently, it is canon.
I will watch it then at some point. And whenever that happens, I don't know if we'll do a full episode, but sometime in the future, I might just do like a little 5-minute section saying, hey, Jedi Survivor, or not Jedi Survivor, Young Jedi Adventure was good or bad or whatever.
Yep.
Well, you ready to get into it?
I believe so. Let's get it going.
Round 1, The Bad Batch Season 2 versus The Mandalorian Season 3. Which series would you like to start with?
Let's say I think this one's gonna be the hardest one. We'll start with Bad Batch.
Bad Batch.
Because it's on the left.
Yeah, for sure. So I think there's a lot of really great stuff about the Bad Batch. The only thing, the main negative I have, and it's not even the show's fault, it's our fault, is it kind of ruined the experience for me just a little bit, how intense our recording schedule was for the Bad Batch. We were trying really hard to stay current, but we also had to review Bad Batch Season 1 before Bad Batch Season 2 came out, and it was fun. I really enjoyed the series, but I definitely think it took away from my enjoyment a little bit.
Yeah, we really, really were harping on Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we were watching, 2 episodes a week so that we could review them.
Right.
And in order to watch it enough times where you can talk about it, I don't know, I have to watch them like twice.
Yeah.
So basically every night I was watching at least an episode of Bad Batch.
Right.
And that was a little much. But
for sure.
We made it, and I did really enjoy it. I would do it again.
Same. And again, that's totally not the Bad Batch's fault. I just feel like I don't necessarily have as positive of a view on it as I do with The Mandalorian, just because of that schedule. Which again,
and we weren't recording Mandalorian Season 3 while we were watching it.
Right. We just got to enjoy the show. Yeah.
Yeah, we just got to watch it and love it. So, yeah, that is true. That does kind of taint our views a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, and let me see. I'm just bringing up now. Bad Batch Season 2, we got 16 episodes, and I think they were all pretty much bangers, right? I don't remember any episodes that I didn't like.
Well, and even the filler ones, one of them that I remember was the giant robot, the first episode.
Oh,
I think it was the first episode.
The Zepho robot?
Yeah, that was awesome as far as filler goes. Also, the pod racing episode, that was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I really had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Also, we got to see some really big moments for Omega, which for me as a self-proclaimed Omega hater, it was really good for me to see her character change and her grow up a little bit and be less annoying.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I liked Season 2 quite a bit.
Me too. We got to see Gungi or Gungi. Gungi? How's it pronounced? Mac's going to be so mad at me.
It's Gungi.
Gungi.
Even during that episode, you should go back and listen to it. He roasts you for calling him Gungi.
Yes. To be fair, I did purposely say his name wrong just to make Mac mad in that one.
And now it's not ironic anymore. Now it's just what you call him.
Yeah, now I just don't know. Yeah, even
or no, I'm sorry, it's Gungi. No, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Even in our top 5 lightsaber episodes that I did with my buddy Josh, I purposely pronounced it wrong again just to make Mac mad. But no, sorry, back onto what you were saying about Omega. Dave Filoni really is just the master of giving us arrogant, snooty characters that like you're supposed to hate in the beginning, and then like over time given great character development where they end up being one of your favorite characters by the end, and I love that.
Yeah, and also on that note, what I like too is, especially for these two, which are, fan favorites, but like Ahsoka and Omega, for instance, like they both start out in similar spots where they're arrogant kids and they don't know what they're doing, but they think they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And you get to watch them grow up, which is kind of fun. And I think that's another thing that specifically Dave Filoni does really well, is portraying that thing that we all do, well, all hopefully do, which is grow up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Another plot line that I really loved was just the whole clones living in the Empire. We got to see Cody. We got to see Crosshair. Sorry, I was spacing on his name. Just kind of their journey. I think this is the season where we also saw the 3 or 4 clones that were surviving on the snow planet, trying to make things work, and they just weren't getting the supplies or men they needed from the Empire. It's an episodic series, but there's this background B plot of the clones, and I just love that.
Yeah, and one thing I liked too on that note was, Hauser's storyline, and that he just started to figure out that he doesn't want to be part of the Empire anymore, and he's starting to see how messed up it is, but he doesn't get his happy ending.
Yeah.
And I thought that it makes it a lot more powerful, just because not every clone does get their happy ending. Like Rex and Wolf and Gregor and those guys, they were the lucky ones, actually.
Yeah. Yeah. Quick note, I love the animation. Mm-hmm. Every season, from Clone Wars, the movie, Clone Wars Season 1, to now, they just keep improving. And I mean, I don't know how much more room they have to improve, but they just are knocking it out of the park. Yeah,
I agree with that. I mean, it's really clean. It's easy to watch. Not that it's realistic, but it kind of, if you're not a big animation person, it kind of helps you to forget that you're watching animation because it's so clean. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And my last point is Tech, and most likely him being dead. I know there's a lot of theories that he's still alive, but that was a really emotional and powerful moment, and I think they handled it really well.
Well, and that was my favorite character too. I was very sad, but one thing I loved is that I was sad. The show did its job.
Yeah,
it made that moment real.
For sure.
Yeah, I was legitimately on the edge of my seat.
Me too. Oh, it was so intense. Oh, and the music. The music's always great.
Yeah, but also name a Star Wars show without good music.
Yeah, honestly.
I'll wait.
Well, that's all I have for Bad Batch Season 2. Do you have anything before we move on to Mandalorian?
No.
Great. Mandalorian Season 3. Let's see. We got Chapter 17 to Chapter 24, so 8 episodes. Mm-hmm. And these were a little longer, be 35 to 50 minutes, roughly. So probably close to a similar runtime as The Bad Batch, just less episodes. Mm-hmm. Yep. This season was really divisive. A lot of people really didn't like this season, and the average viewers from Chapter 17 to Chapter 24, I think, took a really big dive.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing a lot about the controversy. Some people didn't like the whole taking Mandalore back arc. Mm-hmm. Some people didn't like that Bo-Katan kind of stepped into more of a major role.
Oh, and what's crazy about that is, yeah, totally. There was one half felt that way, and then another half felt like the Mandalore arc and Bo-Katan should have been like the whole season. Like, we got a few episodic episodes, and then this like final arc started, and a lot of people felt like it should have been the whole season. I don't know if I agree with that. I like how they handled it.
Yeah, because, you know, I do like kind of where they seem to be pushing Bo-Katan.
Yeah.
As, like, the Mandalore ruler and stuff like that. Like, I think that that's cool. But at the same time, it is still Din Djarin's show.
Yeah.
And so I think you actually probably would have upset a lot more fans by giving Din Djarin the boot to the season. Like that.
I agree.
You can't do that, I don't think. So I also like the way they handled it, kind of making it both.
Yeah. And onto that, like, Bo-Katan, like, becoming the leader of Mandalore, like, when Season 1 came out, I was so excited. I was like, oh, we're getting the story of the Mandalorian that's going to become the Mandalore. He's going to reunite his people, and, like, as his character developed and the series went on, like, I just don't think that's Din.
Yeah, he's not that guy.
Yeah, he's the background character that gets put in the main plot and doesn't want to be there.
But that's the art of the show. I mean, that's also too, like, he's the dad who you know, like, his kid had been begging him for a puppy for years, and no one thought he was going to love this puppy. But then he gets the puppy, and he loves it more than anyone else does.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of the same thing. Like, it's awesome. I love it.
But no, I really, really like this season. Like, I loved the retaking Mandalore. I loved getting to, like, just the little tease of the Mythosaur. I do wish we would have saw the full thing, but the tease was enough for me.
Oh, yeah.
We finally got an end to the Moff Gideon arc. I really like this season.
How do you feel about how Moff Gideon came back?
Like, with the, like, Mandalorian armor, and I liked it. He's a little crazy, but I think his plan makes sense. Like, combining the best traits of all these different, like, warrior races or religions or people. I think that's a smart plan. We've talked about it on the podcast before. If the Jedi had found Mandalore and had access to Beskar instead, it would have been over. Nobody would have stood a chance.
Oh, yeah. No way. No one ever would have stood a chance, honestly.
Right. What did you feel about Moff Gideon's return?
I liked it. I mean, because they really didn't ever introduce another big bad. Really? I mean, it was just always the Empire and, like, the shadows of the Empire.
Right, yeah.
And so, like, I was fine that Moff Gideon didn't stay dead.
Mm-hmm.
I was okay with it.
Me too.
I didn't think that it was too out there. Because, you know, when some stories do that, like, you can tell that they're just trying to make money.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know. Like, how often have they killed a superhero and then brought him back?
Yeah.
In a comic book, like, a couple weeks later.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, that's happened, like, literally hundreds of times.
Yeah.
And I can see where that would get frustrating after a while, but I like the way they handled it on this one.
Yeah. Me too.
Oh, that reminds me, too. With the Darksaber, I actually like that the Darksaber was destroyed.
I have really mixed feeling, because I agree. I like it. I think it makes sense narratively. But at the same time, the little nerd in me is so sad because it was so cool and now it's gone.
They can make another one.
They can. And I guarantee they have the Kyber crystal. Like,
how can you guarantee that?
Okay, that's true. I like to talk big, Tucker. I like to talk big.
No, I was waiting. I was waiting for some theory. I don't know.
No, that really is it. I think that'd be a really great way for them to bring the Darksaber back, is just say that, you know, they found the Kyber crystal on the ground.
Yeah.
So there's a theory. It's never going to happen, but small tangent. You know, we get red sabers because the hatred is poured into a normal Kyber crystal. White sabers because those red sabers are then purified. Then there's a theory that we get dark sabers being a white saber that has then once again had hatred poured into it, like it's been corrupted again.
Oh.
I don't know if that's
interesting.
I don't know if that's true, but that's a theory I really like. Now, what happens if you purify it again?
Then does it turn like gray or just something
Turning
weird?
gray.
Is it just a regular sword?
turns it back to metal. How did you feel about Lizzo and Jack Black's appearance?
I liked it. I mean, it was the whole thing. I mean, it's a filler episode. Every show's got them, you know, so that's fine. You want to bring in some celebrity endorsements? I'm fine with that too.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem. I also happen to really, really like Jack Black.
Yeah.
So I was definitely very okay with that. Lizzo, I mean, I don't have anything negative to say about her. It's just not really my type of music.
Yeah.
So,
well, actually, on that, just a quick note, disclaimer. I don't want to get too into it because that's not what our podcast is about. Lizzo did some pretty bad things that came out recently, so if our audience, if you want to know more, look that up yourself. Like I said, this isn't really that kind of podcast, but
yeah. Also, I live under a rock, so I just didn't like her just because I don't really like her music. But
no, I personally, I really like her music.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to mention that, you know. But I personally didn't. I really liked their appearance. It's a little jarring seeing like famous celebrities in Star Wars. I think George Lucas was a genius bringing in like lesser known actors. But alternatively, I think Lizzo and Jack Black did they did perfectly for the roles they were playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think they play a good part of the episode. Like I said, it is a filler episode, but it's a good one. I mean, it's fun to watch. You stay entertained the whole time. It does add to the story a little bit.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I'll take it.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Okay, I think that's all I wanted to say. Oh, Grogu's Oh, actually, wait. I'm so sorry. It's a really important note to make. One big downside of this season is we got Grogu and Din's reunion in a different show, and I think that can be really jarring.
Yeah. Well, and also, I mean, especially to the casual fan that, say, didn't watch Book of Boba Fett.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that. I mean, yeah, I could see where that is a negative.
Yeah.
But what I would also say, too, is you shouldn't be a casual fan, and you should just watch all the shows.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're listening to our podcast, you're probably not a casual fan anyway, so...
Yeah, get obsessed is what I would say.
Yes. Okay, what I was going to say originally was Grogu was adorable, as always, and then that made me think of it. But I think that's everything I wanted to talk about. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Mandalorian Season 3?
I'm good.
Okay, big decision time, buddy.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm just gonna throw the first punch here.
Okay. It's so hard, right?
This is such a hard choice. But you know what? I'm just gonna be controversial. I think Bad Batch should win it.
Oh. Ooh.
And I would only say that because their story moved a lot further as far as character progression and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
But also I'm just being controversial too. So
no, I think you're right. I think you're right. And I think for me the reason I'd go with the Bad Batch as well is because of the Grogu and Din thing. And that's I don't know for sure. I'm pretty sure that's not Jon Favreau's fault. I think that was a Kathleen Kennedy or someone else above him's decision. I don't think this was the direction that was originally planned. Oh, yeah. I hate to say it because I like the Mandalorian more than the Bad Batch, but I think you're right. I think we got to go with the Bad Batch on this one.
Yeah. Yeah, I think really just the, end of game with seconds left, shot goes in to win the game thing here is that you don't have to watch another show to fully understand both seasons of Bad Batch.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, is that kind of what we're saying?
Yeah, because I think hypothetically you hadn't watched any of Clone Wars. All you'd watched is Star Wars, the prequel trilogy. You could go into the Bad Batch. You wouldn't necessarily know who they were, but you'd know, okay, these are clones. It connects, like, we see the same scenes from Episode 3 in the beginning episode of the Bad Batch, but just animated. It's super obvious, okay, these are clones, that's a Jedi, this is Order 66. Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, and then also, too, again, I loved Mandalorian Season 3.
Yeah.
But also, I think this was a season that, it's kind of just like a growing year kind of thing. Like, it wasn't Season 1 that just, like, shocked the world.
Yeah.
It instead was kind of building to Season 4. It was doing its job.
Right.
But it didn't just grab you.
Yeah.
Like I wanted it to.
And, the ending where he, like, he's at his, like, house and him and Grogu are just chilling, it kind of feels like a series finale when it's not.
Yeah.
Which actually, it just got confirmed, like, within this last week that we're not getting Mandalorian Season 4. We're actually getting a movie to
cool.
tie it all up. But still, it feels like an ending when it necessarily shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and honestly, earlier today, I don't know which one I would have chosen.
Me too. I honestly thought that Mandalorian was going to take this. But the more we talked about it, the more... Yeah, just... Whew.
And honestly, I might change my mind tomorrow. But, but I think right now, I mean, on this particular matchup, I think Bad Batch, they win, in my opinion. Barely win.
Yes, for sure.
Definitely like a double overtime shocker, but they win.
Yeah. Well, are we ready to move on to our next set?
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, this one I think will be a lot more easy.
I don't know, if I'm being honest. So we're going to be talking about Jedi Survivor versus Visions, and these are two totally different mediums. Jedi Survivor is a video game. Visions is an animated anthology series. So what we're going to be focusing on is our enjoyment of the project as a whole. We'll talk about the story or stories in case of Visions, and then we might talk about animation and music and stuff like that. Things that both projects share. We won't, knock Jedi Survivor for being a video game or knock Visions for not being a video game, Let's see. Do we want to start with Jedi Survivor?
Yeah.
All right. What you got for us?
I said it once and I'll say it again. It's my favorite Jedi game.
Oh, for sure. I think I've anytime I talk about Jedi Survivor with somebody, I always bring up that this is the perfect example of what a sequel should be. It continues the story. It keeps most of the same mechanics while upgrading it enough to feel new, but not so much that it feels like a totally different game.
Yeah. And also what I like too is it just, all the characters continue to build.
Yeah.
There's not a single static character in that entire quote unquote cast.
Mm-hmm. I agree. And then again, just onto gameplay. This is the only gameplay thing I think I'll have. Just on back on what I was saying with the progression thing, Tears of the Kingdom, I love. I think it might be my favorite Legend of Zelda game. But it's the same Link as Breath of the Wild, and you completely start over. You lose all your health, you lose your abilities, and for me, that's super frustrating. While, on the other hand, with Jedi Survivor, Cal feels like a more mature, more powerful version of Cal from Fallen Order. Like, you face the Ninth Sister early in the game, and you stomp her. Like, just to show how much he's progressed and how much more powerful he's become, and I love that.
Yeah, and then also you keep pretty much all your Force abilities from the previous games. Like, you still have double jump.
Yeah.
You have Force push, Force pull, and they only build on it. Like, because what would be annoying is if you had to, like, do all the flashbacks again. To earn your Force abilities back.
That's
which I know, like,
Tears
especially
of the
Mac
Kingdom.
was really annoyed with that in the first game. However, I liked it for that first game.
Yeah.
I thought it went well with the story, but if they did that in the second game, I mean, that would be frustrating. And I'm glad they didn't.
For sure. But yes, sorry, on to what you were saying with the story, the characters, they all progress. We get some really interesting new characters with Dagan Gera, Bode, and the worm creature thing whose name I can't remember. Oh, actually, have you beaten it?
No.
I'm so sorry.
No, I haven't. It's okay. I mean, honestly, it's at this point that if you tell me a spoiler, I mean, it's my fault. I didn't finish the game. It's on me.
No, I'll try not to. Can you remind me real quick where you were in the game, if you remember?
Dude, I mean, seriously, just spoil it. I don't care.
Okay.
Seriously, it's been long enough where it's legitimately my fault. So
Gotcha.
just do it.
Okay, so the guy's name is Ravis, the creature I was talking about. I really think the villains were interesting. I loved getting to see the battle droids come back. Projects like this and the Bad Batch, I love, and I think they really excel showing the change between the Empire or the Republic to the Empire. I think that's something we needed from Star Wars, is to just see that slowly happen, because it's so jarring going from Episode 3 to Episode 4 in terms of aesthetics, like armor, ships. It's just so different, and projects like this fill in the gap.
Yeah, and also culturally, it's such a different world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the pre-Empire Star Wars galaxy is so much freer.
Yeah.
Than the post-Empire galaxy. And so I'm with you. I appreciate all of that as well.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I know you told me, but you're really sure you're okay with spoilers?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Yep.
So, Jedi Survivor, story-wise, we have our three technical survivors, Dagan Gera, Cal Kestis, and Bode.
Oh.
And I really love the progression of, like, Cal versus Dagan and how that all plays out, and then Cal versus Bode and his turn to the dark side and how that all turns out. Both series, or both Jedi games, story revolves around a MacGuffin. The first one was the holocron with the names of Force-sensitive children, and this one was trying to find a way into Tanalorr. And it's really nice that they actually, like, get to Tanalorr and have a happy ending. I was really worried that they were going to pull a Fallen Order again, where they were like, oh, we can't actually live on Tanalorr because what if the Empire finds it? And but they didn't. They found Tanalorr, and they're safe, and I'm really excited to see story-wise where that goes in the third and final game. And they're gonna have to find a way for them to lose Tanalorr, because it would make 0 sense for Luke not to set up his Jedi temple on Tanalorr, if he didn't, like, if it was still around and available to go to.
Yeah. I mean, why would you put your temple in a not that defensible place when a
Right.
really, really defensible place is right there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, I don't know. I think the next game's going to be really dark, and I think we're going to lose some people.
Yeah. Probably.
Also, I think one of my favorite parts and one of your favorite parts is the Cal and Marin romance. You want to talk about that?
That's something I really wanted to see from the first game, man. I thought they vibed. I liked it. Mm-hmm. Also, I'm a sucker for some romance.
Same.
I'll just say it.
We're simple men.
I love me a good romance
happy.
movie. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I like rom-coms. I'll just say it.
No shame. Me too.
Yep. So I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really sweet. I also like Marin as a character too. Mm-hmm. And I think they make a great team. I loved, with Marin, just a quick tangent, the new teleporting ability thing.
Yeah.
I thought that was freaking sweet. Yeah. I don't know, man. But yeah, there was that first moment where they're at the base on that like desert planet, I forget what it's called, and they're like riding the camel together.
Yeah.
I was like, that's sweet. And they're like, bantering back and forth too, like they're talking trash to each other. Like while she's like holding on to him, I was like, yeah, that's solid. That's solid storytelling.
Yeah, the build up for their relationship between the first game and this one was really good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought they did it well.
And then again, I'm sorry, Cal's temporary fall to the dark side, and getting dark side abilities. I think it was really good narratively, and I think they're trying to make us think that, he's gonna like fully fall to the dark side in the next game. I think that's what they want us to think. I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, or maybe he'll be redeemed. Like, he might, the first couple levels be sort of dark side, and then someone will turn him back or something.
And I think it's going to be an Anakin-Luke scenario where his love for Marin is what's going to keep him on the light side.
I could believe it.
Yeah. Animation, great. I love the art style of this game. When we played it at launch, it was a little buggy, not too bad, but I think those issues have been fixed by now.
Yeah. Well, and I remember even whenever I was playing it, after the first week or two, it was significantly better.
Yeah.
Those first couple of patches, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Music was great. Again, what Star Wars project doesn't have good music?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I did too.
Big statement. I think this may... Oh, you know what? Actually, we did an episode on video games. We did a top 5. I can't remember what my number 1 was. Was it Jedi Survivor? Because I feel like right now it's definitely, I would say Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, for me it was number 2, and I think I'd still put it there. I mean, if it's not the original Battlefront 2, I mean that is my favorite game and always will be.
Yeah,
so,
I do remember you and the Suited Bird giving me a hard time for not putting Battlefront 2 at my number 1.
Dude, it's the best game. I'll just say that.
It's pretty fire. Anyway, are we ready to talk about Visions?
Yep.
Hell yeah. Oh, you know what? Why don't you start us off, and I'll look at how many episodes we got.
Okay, so this is Vision Season 2, and one thing that I'll just say about it first that I love is I love that they expanded to other countries.
Me too.
Vision Season 1 was entirely Japan, and what I loved was this one featured, a studio from South Africa, a studio from Ireland, a studio from Japan had another one, right? And then,
yes, yeah.
was Spain, Argentina, or was it Chile?
I think it was Chile.
Yeah. India.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I forget where else, but
England. I don't know if you mentioned it. England got one.
England.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they had
that's
the
right.
claymation "I'm Your Mother."
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it. In fact, I enjoyed it more than Vision Season 1. And that's just because, like, I'm not really an anime guy.
Yeah. And that's fair.
Like, that just doesn't really do it for me as much. Mm-hmm. So, the fact they expanded to other countries and allowed some more styles in this time made it more fun for me.
I agree.
Yeah.
And something we talked about this in our Vision Season 2 episode, but Season 1 was a lot more action packed, and I think Season 2 was a lot more like story packed or story focused, and I actually really like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like too that it was like there was a lot of episodes too that weren't action packed at all, and they were even somewhat just kind of chill.
Yeah.
And I loved that. I thought that was I thought that was a good decision for because with Star Wars, we don't get that much. There's not much chill Star Wars out there.
Right. Or even like I'm Your Mother. It was action-packed, quote unquote, but the action wasn't some like life-threatening event or universe-saving thing. It was just a race. It was just a pilot in training on a race with her mom.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought that was just really fun.
Yeah, and
also too, there were episodes that were the complete opposite, and even went darker than a lot of other Star Wars did, and told some stories about some pretty difficult to think about themes.
Yeah, just how
they really explored some pretty deep questions too.
How awful the Empire is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are several episodes in here that when I finally do my full chronological episode or watch through, which I keep putting off, and it just keeps getting longer the more I put it off. There are a few episodes I'm going to throw into, like The Pit, which shows just how evil and cruel the Empire is, or the one with the mom who was a dancer who the spy dancer whose son got kidnapped by the Empire. There's some very mature episodes, and I think they handle it really well.
Yeah, so really overall I enjoyed it a lot, and that's even coming from someone who I didn't like Vision Season 1 that much.
Yeah.
But Vision Season 2 won me back.
Mm-hmm. And something that I love, this being an anthology series, we get so many different cool animation styles. And I'm looking through the episode list now. I don't think there was a single, in terms of the animation style episode, that I didn't like. I think I loved them all.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, and we got 3 claymation ones. That was cool.
Yeah. Yeah, and then also I like, too, how the animations, while different, too, some of them appeared to be more simple, like the claymation ones. I know claymation's actually quite difficult. I'm not saying it's easy. But It just, as far as aesthetically, it's more simple looking, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus, for instance, the Spanish one, that one seemed a lot more high tech, with their use of different colors, and I don't know, it's kind of choppy but also smooth. I mean, obviously I don't know what I'm talking about, but you get my point though. Some were more complicated than others, but I think all of them looked very good even with their different styles.
Yeah.
We got a lot of different samples is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and then Sith and the Bandits of Golak, those both were almost Clone Wars animation, almost that style, but they still kept their own unique vision.
Yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
So we talked about the darker themes, and we talked about how some episodes were just kind of chill, but I also think there was a theme of hope throughout all the episodes. You know, like in the stars, you know, we have these two sisters that come together to stop the Empire from polluting their planet. The spy dancer discovers that her kid's still alive and that maybe she can see him again. The bandits of Golak, the brother successfully gets his sister away to this Jedi safe haven. The pit, it's a really dark episode, but they escape in the end, and it ends with the girl looking at the Kyber crystal. And yes, some of it is darker, but there's always hope in that darkness, and I love that.
Yeah.
Well, anything else you want to say?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so I went in 100% sure that I was going to pick Jedi Survivor. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I can. I don't know if I will.
Throw the first punch, dude. Throw the first punch.
Oh, Jedi Survivor is one of my favorite video games of all time, but they just did so much with Visions.
Yeah. I think for me it's an easier choice.
Okay.
I think for me Jedi Survivor wins. And I say that because it's, I don't know if it's officially canon or not, but it's more so like actual Star Wars.
Yes, you could comfortably, like, even if it's not canon, you could comfortably fit it into canon.
Yeah. And so I think for me that's more so of what I would be looking for as far as picking a show to win.
Yeah.
However, Visions does a very good job of, like, thematically being Star Wars. But it's just, you know, every episode is entirely new characters on entirely new planets with entirely new stories. And it's, you know, it's not normal Star Wars, which is cool. But I think that's probably my largest point for Survivor.
Yeah. So,
or I guess my largest unbiased point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think why I'm struggling is because of exactly what you said. It's a new set of characters, it's different animation style, it's different studios, it doesn't necessarily fit into canon, but yet at the same time, this season just felt so connected to itself. Like, it felt like there was a vision for the season as a whole, and even though every story was different, it was aiming for that same vision, and I think that's a really hard thing to do in an anthology series like that, and yet they did it so well. And that's why I'm struggling. But I think you're right that we should go with Jedi Survivor because it does fit into canon better.
Well, and also too, like, I mean, something that I want to apply to, like what you just said with the anthology series thing. I mean, it is one of my favorite pieces of art. Yeah. I would say.
Yeah.
But it's not my favorite piece of Star Wars.
That's fair.
Is I guess what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. And
so for that reason I can't let it win.
Yeah, I'm feeling really torn still, but I think because I'm feeling torn and you're feeling like confident, I think we go with Jedi Survivor. I'm happy with that.
Okay.
But you know what? Visions 2 freaking rocked it, and I can't wait for 3.
Oh, me neither. I mean, like I said, it really is one of my favorite pieces of art.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, on to semifinals. We have The Bad Batch versus Jedi Survivor.
Another tough one.
I didn't
expect this. I didn't expect this at all. Man, who wins?
This really is tough. And so we're not going to talk about them too in depth because we've already talked about them a little bit. But I think there's still room for a little discussion on what each did right.
Well, yeah, we can like bullet point it.
Yeah.
Just real quick, nothing. Like I don't want to re-explain what they are again, but we can compare them a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think both series have fantastic stories. Like we talked about the B plot with the clones trying to figure out their spot in the Empire, the A plot being maybe a little more episodic, but still having this overarching arc of the clones are specifically the Bad Batch, Clone Force 99, trying to find their spot in the Empire. They're trying to figure out like what they're doing with their lives. Should they maybe settle down? The loss of tech. Like, it is just such a powerful story. While on the other hand, Jedi Survivor, it's almost, you know what? They're very similar stories of Cal trying to figure out what he wants to do with his life and find a safe place for him and his people to settle down.
And there's similar times too.
And there's similar times, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
They both. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Sorry. No, you have a way deeper point than me. Go ahead.
It won't be a long tangent. Just they both, like I mentioned earlier, are great series that show the transition from the Republic to the Empire, which are things I really care about. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say Jedi Survivor doesn't have Omega.
It does have a child, though. Later.
Oh, okay.
And you know what? That child roasts Cal sometimes, and what's his name? The actual pilot of the Mantis.
Grease.
Grease, yeah, she'll roast them sometimes. I find that hilarious.
That's awesome. I appreciate that, actually.
I think Jedi Survivor has a happier ending than Bad Batch.
I know you love a happy ending.
I'm a happy ending kind of a guy.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, and there's such different mediums.
Yeah, I mean, I think for me this is gonna be a biased choice. I mean, I don't know how for it to not be. Okay. To be honest with you, they're both such great projects.
Let me ask you this: which one did you enjoy more? At the end of the day,
Survivor.
Yeah, Survivor. Mm-hmm. You know what? I think I gotta go with Survivor too. In terms of, not that we're officially picking Survivor, but in terms of enjoyment, I had way more fun with Survivor.
Yeah, I did too. And again, like I said, I don't think that we're at a point right now where we can make this choice unbiasedly. Right. I mean, I think no matter what, there would be some bias because we went way too hard when we recorded for Bad Batch.
Yeah.
Or we both happen to really like video games. Mm-hmm. Or like Jedi Survivor kind of caters more to adult Star Wars fans, whereas Bad Batch I think kind of caters more toward younger people, not children, but I'd say maybe like teenagers.
Right.
Kind of more like families than like Survivor would.
And I think in terms of just completely looking at only the story, nothing else, I think Jedi Survivor's story is paced a little better.
Yeah.
Man, this is not how I thought today would go, but I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm going to pick Survivor.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it. I think Survivor wins.
I think so, too.
It's painful, though.
It is. I
don't want to say it, but I think it's true. Yeah.
And just one last point, I think, for me is Jedi Survivor's ending has me more, or the story as a whole, has me more excited for what's coming in the final game compared to Bad Batch and being excited for the final season.
Yeah, well, and honestly, on that note, just thinking about watching Bad Batch Season 2, kind of where it left me was, I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I think for me, I would be a lot more excited for a new Jedi game. Because I can't wait to see where it's going. Whereas Bad Batch, I think I'd be a lot more excited for new Star Wars than I would be to see specifically where that show goes.
Right. And I know we talked about wanting a happy ending, but... And I think we talked about this in the Bad Batch review. I really hope Tech is dead.
Yeah.
Star Wars has a real problem of fake-out deaths right now, and as sad as I am to see Tech go, I hope it sticks. It'll make that moment more powerful, and that in itself makes me less excited for Bad Batch Season 3, because I have a feeling they're going to bring him back.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see it.
So, okay, Jedi Survivor. It's it's
yeah,
the
here
one.
we go.
Okay, we're here to finals. Jedi Survivor versus Ahsoka Season 1. Do you want to start talking about Ahsoka?
Yeah, Ahsoka, I think we should probably make it quick just because...
we just finished our review on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, we finished it like a month ago.
Yeah.
So,
no,
I mean,
I'm down.
I think our fans that listen to our show, I'm sure they've probably heard our Ahsoka episodes by now. And probably heard them fairly recently. So I'm just going to go kind of quick. But
yeah, for sure.
Ahsoka was definitely the most anticipated Star Wars for me this year.
Yes, same.
I looked forward to that more than anything else, I think. And, I mean, between it and Mandalorian, actually, like, I don't know. I'd have to say it was a tie because there's two totally different times of the year. One was a lot more recent, so it's kind of hard to say for sure. But I mean, they were definitely my top two as far as the anticipation and looking forward to them.
Yeah.
Ahsoka, I think they did a great job. There's a bunch of things I love about that show. One thing I love, for instance, is getting to see a live action Ahsoka.
Yeah.
I think was awesome. I think Rosario Dawson does a wonderful job. And well, and also the girl who plays Ahsoka, I forget her name.
Oh yeah,
like young Ahsoka.
Yeah,
she did great. So I mean, I think she was written well. Both actresses act well. The show's written well. You know, I liked her relationship with. Well, especially Hu Yang. That was awesome. Getting to see Hu Yang again and like watch them work together and bicker and stuff. I love that. And also like Hu Yang's savage lines. Like that was awesome.
Yeah.
It brought a little bit of humor to the table. Love that. I liked Ahsoka and Sabine's relationship. I liked how they were two people who were very close. And things got wrecked, and they were both trying to help fix it in their own way. They were both trying to fix their relationship. And you don't really get any resolution till the end of the show, which I liked.
Yeah.
They didn't, like, just solve their problems super quick. It seemed... I don't know, it's just good storytelling. I loved seeing live-action Ezra.
Right? His actor did so good.
Baylan and Shin. And I think everyone loved Baylan and Shin. I mean, that was... I didn't see them coming.
Yeah.
Whenever I was looking forward to the show, I had no clue they were going to exist. I loved their stories, their backstories, what happens to them during the show. I thought it went wonderfully. Well, I mean, not wonderfully for them, but wonderfully for the show. I mean, like, it was just very appealing.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. A lot to think about. Yeah, I mean, what more can I say? That's kind of how I feel.
Yeah.
I really liked it.
Okay, a couple things. 8 episodes on this one, which I think is an appropriate amount. Maybe 10 to 12 might have been okay, but I was happy with 8.
Yeah.
Young Ahsoka was played by Ariana Greenblatt, who, like you said, I agree, totally did a fantastic job. Thrawn, we didn't talk about him. I know there's a lot of controversy on Thrawn. I loved his portrayal in this series. I really think his character development from his first appearance in his canon novels to Rebels to here is just so good. The only thing I feel kind of about is the ending, which, you know, we talked about. It just felt like the ending went on a little too long and kind of, I don't know. I don't think it created the emotions that the series needed to progress to season 2.
Yeah, and I think too there was some times where they could have ended it.
Yeah.
Already before that.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't think it was a perfect series, but I do agree. I mean, there's no pretending this was definitely my most anticipated project of the year.
Yeah.
And on to what
we got to see Anakin again.
Oh my goodness, that was so hype. It was so good.
That was awesome. That was actually my favorite part of the whole series.
I think so
too. The flashbacks. The flashbacks with Hayden Christensen, I thought were just money every time. There wasn't a single one I didn't like.
Yeah, and I love the character progression that we got with Ahsoka from like Ahsoka the White or Ahsoka the Gray to Ahsoka the White. Man, this show was just
the world between worlds. We got to see that in live action for the first time ever.
Purgles.
That was sick. Purgles.
Live action. Hell yeah.
Love our space whales.
The Noti. Also one of my new favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, I love them. I mean, just thinking about it makes me laugh. I love them.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Huang, just the moment where he says he saved the thing for the top of the lightsaber, the emitter, and Ezra getting one to match Kanan is just such a like powerful moment, an emotional moment. Yeah, this series was great. And
we didn't talk about Hera.
Hera did really good too.
Loved getting to see live action Hera.
Yeah, we got a Leia tease. We got her name mentioned in C-3PO.
Yep, live action Chopper.
Oh yes, my
who
favorite war
willing
criminal.
To cut people.
Who was willing to drop a hyperdrive on a city.
Yeah, literally said, "What do I care?" I love that. We got to see Carson again. Mm-hmm. Love that guy.
Yep. Ooh, another negative I'd say for this series is not seeing Zeb. I think it was kind of weird for them to tease him in Mandalorian Season 3 and then not show him at all in Ahsoka.
Yeah, and then also not give any sort of reason at all until like the last episode as to why he wasn't there.
Right.
I think that's something that you should kind of address up front. Like, to wait till the end of that was kind of weird.
Yeah. And Hera and Ezra not seeing him hug. It's little, like, I have little nitpicks that stop it from being like the perfect show in my eyes, but not enough for me not to like the series, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. And not be very excited. But also I think it's because we have a show where we overanalyze, critique all things Star Wars. So I think, it would probably be unnatural for us to not at least have something to say.
Yeah. And I think my last note before we get to our final pick of 2023, at least we got to see a new galaxy, which I thought was really cool too.
Yeah, and we got to learn more about how hyperspace travel works, that we can go between galaxies.
Right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And the Night Sister lore that we got, and Morgan.
Oh, yeah.
And man, the
Death Troopers, the real Death Troopers?
The real Death Troopers, the Night Troopers, the like gold like armor on them and on the ship.
Oh yeah, and Enoch.
Then Enoch.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was, and also like the very scary Halloween looking first time we saw Thrawn, when everyone's like chanting and they're in the starship. That was
one of the best villain entrances I think the only one that might top it is Vader's initial entrance in Episode 4.
Actually, I was gonna say Rogue One's Vader. I think tops that.
Rogue One.
It's I guess like very close to the same exact shot because it's like within minutes of each other as far as real time. But it's
with the lighting and the better graphics. I think you're right. I agree.
Yeah, I think Rogue One Vader's probably the coolest, and then followed up by, I believe it's Return of the Jedi Vader, where it's dead silent on the Death Star.
Oh, yeah.
And then his ship, or no, it's the Emperor. That's right.
Where it comes lands.
It's the Emperor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally different vibes, but still so menacing.
Yeah, but also, I mean, that's what? We've got 3, so it's easily top 3. I mean, I think that's totally fair to say.
Oh, okay. Are you ready for our final decision or final comparison?
Yep.
Yeah, I
think so.
I think, again, same thing. The story on both of them were phenomenal. And I think we talked about this with Bad Batch, so it's fair to talk about here. I think Ahsoka has me more excited for Ahsoka Season 2 and the Thrawn movie than Jedi Survivor does for Jedi 3. How are you feeling? Yeah?
No, I could agree with that. I could absolutely agree with that. And Jedi Survivor was great, but... And this is kind of hard to say, because it feels kind of biased and maybe even a dumb opinion, but I just think that overall, real Star Wars, like a movie or a show, is gonna beat a game.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Especially something that's that much canon and that important. Mm-hmm. Like it's more important to the story, I would say, than Jedi Survivor.
Right, I agree. And, like, to Jedi Survivor's credit, like, it made it all the way to the finals.
Yeah, and I think it deserves it.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong.
I agree.
But I will phrase it in that I think I have to give the win to Ahsoka.
Yes. I agree.
I feel obligated that Ahsoka should win.
Right.
And it's for the reason I said before, it's more important to the overall story.
I agree. And in, like, Jedi Survivor is a side story. And it's a phenomenal side story, but it's a side story. Ahsoka, on the other hand, has years of build-up between, like, it's a follow-up to Rebels, it's a follow-up to Clone Wars, the prequel trilogy, the original trilogy, it's a sequel to Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett. Like, pretty much everything that's come out is pushing towards Ahsoka.
Yeah.
And not that Ahsoka's going to be, like, the final thing or whatever, but, like, it just has so much more build-up than Jedi Survivor.
Yeah, and it may not be the final thing, but it's where we are now.
And I'm biased, and Ahsoka's my favorite Star Wars character, so...
Well, at least we're admitting it. But like I said, though, I really feel like it's an obligation, and I won't feel bad about that.
Yeah.
I think that's just the way it is.
I do think comparing the stories, very different stories, quality of them, they're pretty close, I'd say. I loved both of these stories so much, but I'd still have to give, like, narrative and story-wise to Ahsoka too, which, to its benefit, is a TV series, and that's, like, the main point.
Yeah.
Like, you can play a really fun game with a bad story and have a good time because there's the gameplay aspect of it. You can't...
Oh, yeah.
You can't enjoy a bad TV show.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So, I think we're pretty set. Our 2023 best Star Wars project is Ahsoka Season 1.
Yeah. I think that's where we're at.
I'm happy with how this went.
Of course you are.
I really, if I'm being honest, my prediction was that the final was going to be Ahsoka versus Mandalorian. So
Me
for
too.
Mandalorian to get knocked out round 1 is a little crazy to me.
Yeah, well, that's what I meant when I said earlier, man. The Cinderella team. It always happens.
Yeah.
Always happens.
For sure. I really enjoyed doing this. I can't guarantee that we'll do this again at the end of 2024, but I definitely want to. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, we'll kind of have to see what comes out. If we don't have enough, then we just don't have enough.
Right. Which actually, great tee up, Tuck. That's what we're going to be talking about next week, as this week was looking back at 2023. Next week's going to be looking forward to 2024 and the projects that we know we're getting, and kind of our thoughts about those.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it.
Hell yeah. Well, any final notes?
No.
Great.
No, I mean, we appreciate you guys listening, and thanks for giving us a successful 2023, and yeah, I mean, we can't wait to keep going.
Yeah, for sure. And our question of the week, if you're listening on Spotify, is what was your favorite project from 2023? And, we didn't talk about any of the novels. If it doesn't have to be a film or TV series. It could be a novel or a comic or whatever. But let us know. If you're listening somewhere where you could leave us a review, that would really help. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can email us at animalsquadron@gmail.com. Again, that is animalsquadron@gmail.com. And we will see you in the next one. For the Animal Squadron, this has been Mother Goose.
And Lowtech Tub.
Goodbye, everybody.
Adios.